on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Monday, people. Apologies, as somebody put in the chat, later than Aubameyang to training. You're not wrong, to be fair. But hey, it is what it is. You don't mind if people turn up late if they, you know, do their job very well. And I'd say I do the job fairly well. Anyway, let me not get into it too much. But we're here, people, and we're going to talk about, well, I wish we didn't have to talk about, but we're going to talk about that absolute snooze fest that we watched yesterday. Arsenal-Chelsea, probably one of the worst London derbies I have ever watched. To be honest, man, I mean, I don't know what that was. It was a weird game. It was like a pre-season friendly on tour. Nobody wanted to challenge. Nobody... It's just a weird feeling around the game. It's like... Yeah, and I was surprised by Chelsea, because Chelsea actually need to get in the top four, and theirs is a little bit in the balance. Obviously, we're not winning anything. I think yesterday pretty much secures us top four. It was a Snorefest. It really was. But it is what it is. I think we're going to have worse games than that, people. We imagine if that's just like Bournemouth at home or something like that. Where's the motivation going to come from? I think we're going to have a long end to the season in terms of the Premier League, but definitely in the Champions League is where the excitement is going to come from. There was some good football yesterday, though. We did the watch along for Newcastle against Liverpool, and that guy up top is on a different level. To be honest, I don't think he's going to leave. I think yesterday makes it worse for anybody to get him. And you can see the headline today, Arsenal willing to pay 100 million for Isak. That doesn't mean we're going to get him. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's crazy to think that apparently we rejected the chance to sign Bruno Guimaraes a couple years ago when he left Lyon and he went to Newcastle. You look at him now, he for me would be one of the number one midfielders that I would sign. You know, I love Barella. You guys know I love Barella, but he ain't leaving Inter Milan. Bruno Guimaraes would be amazing in the Arsenal midfield. And I tell you what, that boy Tonali as well. People were laughing at Newcastle when this guy got banned. Oh, they've been bumped. Bought him from Milan. Now he's banned for betting. Bro, I'll take a 6-month ban if he plays like that. What a player he is as well, by the way. But that guy up front, I'm going to be totally honest. He's one of the best strikers in the world. We've got to start going to them levels. People might think I'm overhyping this guy. He's one of the best strikers in the world. Realistically, if you look around the world, he is up there. Like he has ripped up Saliba and Gabriel this season, right? He's ripped up Van Dijk. Man's just running off like, yeah, this guy Van Dijk, mate. Are you sure? Every time he plays against these teams, he's just bagging. What a player. As Fat Joe once said, man, yesterday's price is not today's price. We turn up with that 100 million. I don't think that. I think they brush that off. I think they're angry if you turn up with 100 million. He's that good. If I was Newcastle and you offer 100 million for Isak, I'd say, listen, you know Chelsea paid 115 million for Caicedo. You know you paid 105 million for Declan Rice. Go away, come back with a serious offer. And the money that it would take to get him, we won't get him. 100 million plus £1. The guy's unreal. Let's be honest. In life, sometimes, people, you have a window of opportunity. We've probably missed the opportunity to get him, to be honest. We should have probably got him from Sociedad. Maybe we should have got him a year or two after being there. And if they get Champions League, there's no way you get him out of there. Big up Geordie Toon for live. Curtis, it's a pleasure watching Isak play week in, week out. He's just so good and entertaining. And you know what? I'm going to be totally honest, right? I'm going to be totally honest. And I agree with a lot of you. I can see him going to Barcelona when Lewandowski goes in about, I think he's got a year left on his contract. I'm not even sure if Isak would look that good playing for Arsenal. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm not even sure. The way he looks for Newcastle, you put him in Arteta's system, I'm not sure he looks as good, because you know what Arteta wants, people. Arteta wants link up. He wants hard work. He wants you to drift out wide. he's got the freedom of Newcastle. Do whatever you want, mate. Do whatever you want. Causes chaos. That guy is unbelievable. He put another 10 million on his price yesterday. So turning it with 100 million, I don't think you get anywhere near him for that, to be honest. He is outrageously good. Outrageously good. I'd rather watch him play than Haaland. He's that good. He's got everything. 6 foot plus. He's quick. He's strong. He's skillful. All kind of different finishers. That finish yesterday was outstanding. Outstanding. The way he just finessed that into the bottom corner. The reality of the situation, the way we play, just get some brute big guy up front. Because we're just going to spam crosses in once Saka comes back. So go and get Gyökeres or Sesko or somebody. They're probably more suited to us. I can't stand Sesko. I don't want nothing to do with him. But go and get Gyökeres. But this guy, Isak, wow. Wow. What a footballer. Honestly, if I'm Liverpool, if I'm Barcelona, any of them clubs, I would blow up the bank to get him to the club. Absolute. I'd spend half the budget on him. But I told you, this guy, Mikel Arteta, his kryptonite is strikers. He hasn't had one successful striker since he's been at the club. He's ruined all of them. So, hey, it is what it is. The other game, Atletico against Barcelona, very good game. 4-2, I think it was, to Barca. I didn't watch all of it, but what I did see was... I told you, Atletico, I don't think they're as good as people think, man. They're a little bit more attacking than people give them credit for. But they got cooked yesterday after being in front. I should have done a watch-along for that game, but I had a feeling Atletico were going to stink out the place. But it actually ended up being a very good game. The Arsenal game was the worst game of the day, probably. Even the Celtic Rangers game was a fantastic game. So, yeah, we drew the short straw. We did get a 1-0 win. And I think we're in a situation now where, as Arsenal fans, we know the title's gone. So let's be honest. Even if we'd beat Chelsea 4-0 and played amazing football yesterday, what would it have really meant? It would have still been the same thing. We're still disappointed with what happened in January. We're disappointed with what happened at the start of the season. And yesterday felt a bit... You know, I watched that cup final yesterday and I had that feeling of, we're supposed to be here right now. I shouldn't be watching Newcastle against Liverpool. I should be watching Arsenal against Liverpool. But the reality of the situation is, they dealt with us home and away. They deserve to be there. I can't take anything away from them. And do you know what? From a pure footballing point of view, and I hope no Liverpool fan in the chat takes offence to this, I think it's great for football that Newcastle won that trophy yesterday. I actually think they're a really good football club. I've been to St. James's a few times. It's a fantastic atmosphere, big stadium, fanatical fan base, great history. Shearer, Asprilla, Ferdinand, Ginola, they've had ballers over the years. I'm shocked they haven't won a trophy for 70 years. So I think it's brilliant for them. And I'm kind of happy for them for winning that. Plus, the goal film was incredible. And I'll never forget Santiago Núñez scoring on his debut against Fulham. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on, people. Did Aiden Heaven get injured? I haven't even seen... Do you know what? I didn't even realise Man United were playing last night. I didn't realise. I saw the result this morning. Which... but yeah, they beat Leicester 3-0. I didn't realise he got injured. Santiago! What a film, people. What a film. The title is still open. Anything can happen. Nah, too far, bro. Too far. Marcel, thanks, Curtis. Appreciate you rubbing it. Bro, you're going to win the league, man. Come on. You're going to win the league. You got the big trophy in England, man. Don't worry about it. You lot was getting greedy. Champions League and treble and that. Relax, man. You won the title. Haven't got stretchered off. That's sad, man. It's sad. It's good for him that he's been starting as well, man. I thought he was going to finish the season well. It looked bad. I haven't seen anything about that. Is there any indication as to what he's done? But from what you guys are saying, it sounds bad. Anyway, let's get into the show. Part-time party. I've seen enough. Bring me Isak yesterday. I don't think it's going to happen, but we can dream, people. Dream, Isak, reality, Benjamin Sesko. Gunnarola, I refuse to let the club off. We made record profits, waited several windows, no excuses. We must get it done this summer. There's a real chance. I mean, there was a real chance last summer. There was a real chance in January. The sad thing is, and again, Marcel, Liverpool fans, don't come at me here. You know, I can see Liverpool fans are not happy. I'm taking nothing away from Liverpool. You've been the best team in the league this year. But I can't help but watch them sometimes and think they're not that good. They're good. They got Van Dijk, they got Trent, they got Salah, they got Alisson. Of course they're good. Taking nothing away from them. But they're not that good. We're not going to look back on this Liverpool team in 5 years' time and go, yo, that Liverpool 2025 was something else. You're not going to say that. They're not the Liverpool that we saw 5 years ago that were tearing your defence to shreds with Mane and Salah and Firmino. It's a good Liverpool team. And that feeling of how are we not up there with them, it's unbelievable what this football club have done this year. I think it's unforgivable what the club did this season. But unfortunately, we have to lap it up, people. We're going to go to the Bernabeu with a centre midfielder. People messaging me yesterday. These are kind of messages I get. Oh, Merino's proved you wrong. I said, hang on a minute, mate. He scored a goal against Chelsea in a game that looked like a pre-season friendly. Do you know what I mean? It was a good goal. Give him some credit. But what do you think? He's going to go to the Bernabeu and twist up Rudiger? Like, come on. We're playing a centre midfielder up top. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about yesterday's game. Let's get it over with. And then we'll talk about transfers that get us excited, but ultimately probably won't happen. But big up to everyone locked in. Hit the like button. I'm on Dan Potts' channel, Football's 12th Man at 3:30. So I'll be on here for an hour. And then I'll be back on Football's 12th Man at 3:30. International break. We'll do a member stream over this 2-week period. In fact, we haven't got a game for over 2 weeks because the weekend when we come back from international break, it's the FA Cup week. And we're obviously not in the FA Cup, so we don't play till the following Tuesday. I think it's against Fulham. 49 Undefeated said, lad on AFTV said Merino would be rated more highly if he was a 50 million Brazilian signing. State of our fan base. Yeah, all of a sudden he's a hit record because he scored in a few games that don't really mean too much. South London's Fires. Big C, you seen the picture going around on Twitter? Red paint all over the Kroenke mural. Yeah. They should have booed him in the stadium. How about that? When his face was on the big screen, they should have booed him. That would have really made an impact. Let him know you're not welcome in your own house that you own. Well, you're renting it, man. You don't own it. You don't own us. I don't care if you own us financially, spiritually. You don't own us. But hey, it is what it is, people. Beerif, 11 goals in 9 games, but Merino is up front. Strikers, it's the kryptonite, bro. I'm not saying Beerif was good enough, but clearly he must be pretty good. Anyway, we've got Mikel Merino. Let's hype him up. Good goal. Good goal. Let me give him some credit. Very good goal. Playing out of position, not his fault. I'm never going to make a full-on judgment of him as a striker because he ain't a striker. The worrying thing for me, people, is that Merino's played better up front for Arsenal than he has in midfield. So what does that say? I don't know what that says. It says he's not a very good midfielder. He's actually looked okay up front. Not that I want him to play up front, but that's the situation we find ourselves in at the moment, people. This was a strange game of football, man. Do you know, sometimes I watch the game back because when I do the watch-along, I miss certain things of the game. So I watch it back just so when we review the game, I've got a full-on clarity on what happened. I mean, there's no way I was watching that back. I'm sorry. Not a chance. I didn't even watch the highlights back. I saw the goal, saw a few incidents. That'll do. These player ratings, I'm going in the booth and I'm freestyling with no lyrics. It's as simple as that. What a Snorefest. If you didn't watch the Premier League and you thought, do you know what? I always hear about this Premier League football. Like, oh, Arsenal against Chelsea, that's two big teams. Let me watch this game. If you watch that game, you would think you was watching... you would think that was Brentford against Crystal Palace. And in fact, that would probably be a more exciting game because they actually play on the front foot and attack. I don't understand what I watched yesterday. I don't get it. I think sometimes, the Premier League is probably the most exciting league usually. But in terms of quality, I hate blaming Pep, and I don't think Pep is the problem because just because Pep has set a benchmark doesn't mean everybody's got to follow him. But this game yesterday was 2 former assistant managers of Pep Guardiola. That tells you the mindset of the Premier League. Look at what Pep's doing and copy it. That's all it is at the moment. And I actually think that's why the Premier League is boring. Because everybody just wants to copy Pep's homework. And we're copying it wrong. Do you know what I mean? So, Maresca was Pep's assistant. Arteta was Pep's assistant. So let's all try and play like Pep. And we're not as good at doing what Pep's doing. Look at Real Madrid. They don't play like Pep. They play individual brilliance. Ancelotti, freedom to express yourself. Look at Hansi Flick. Individual brilliance. It thrives. Lamine Yamal, Rafinha. But everybody's trying to do what Pep's doing. And we're not as good at Pep at doing it. So what's the point? Figure out your own style, man. It's like in Cool Runnings when Sanka's trying to copy the Swiss. We're not the Swiss, Sanka. Kiss me lucky egg. Yeah, you know what I mean? You got to have your own style, people, man. Stop copying Pep. The Premier League stinks. It's no coincidence, people. The most entertaining teams in the Premier League this season are teams like Forest, Bournemouth, Brighton. Why? Brentford. Because they've got the freedom to express themselves. Semenyo, Mbuemo, Matoma. These guys are playing proper football. They get the ball, they take on fullbacks, they shoot, they're scoring bangers. Fulham as well. Because there's freedom. Go and express yourself. They ain't copying Pep. They're trying to get goals. These teams are getting better. The top teams, they look awful. Tottenham, garbage. Man United, garbage. Arsenal, boring as hell to watch. Every now and then they pop up with a good performance. But we have been so boring this season. Manchester City, boring this season. Boring. Chelsea, look at Chelsea yesterday. I mean, I don't care about Chelsea, but if I'd spent over $1 billion and that was my team, I'd want my money back. Honestly, I'd want my money back. But anyway, I think it's a Premier League issue. This league is poor at the moment. It's no coincidence these teams are getting knocked out of the Champions League. It's no coincidence because the football is predictable, you know? Lack of strikers, lack of quality in wide areas, lack of creativity, slow, predictable, methodical football that hits a brick wall eventually. Premier League was always the most exciting, but now, I don't know. I really don't know. And I said this yesterday, people. There's a reason that most of the best players you've ever seen in your life never touched the Premier League. If I said to you now, name the best players you've ever seen, most of them have never played in this division. Cristiano Ronaldo, Thierry Henry. Couple others you could name. Bergkamp, maybe. Messi, Neymar, Mbappe. You want to go back to different eras. Zidane, Saka, Ronaldinho, R9 Ronaldo. Those guys never touched the Prem. They never touched it. And the best ones that were here, they got out. Suarez, Bale, Ronaldo, they ducked. They said, yeah, I've reached a point, time to go Madrid or Barca. That's not a coincidence. We got the most money, so how come the big boys don't come in? It's not all about the money, people. You know? But hey, maybe it's other factors. The weather. We don't have a winter break. But anyway, let's review the game. Curtis Shaw never touched it as well. You know what I mean? They left me there in League Two, suffering. I didn't want to. I had offers, people, but I said, no, I'll stay at Mansfield. At least I got the freedom to express myself. Plus, you know, it's not about the money with me. Anyway, honestly, I miss Wenger, but bro, I had more fun them times, you know. I swear down. I had more fun them times. Let's go through the ratings. David Raya, he tried his best, didn't he, to spill one in. These ratings, I'm going to struggle to do most of these because I don't think I watched much of the game, to be honest. Let's give him a 6. I'm bored doing the ratings, to be honest. Saliba, 6. I thought he was casual at times yesterday again, which I've seen too many times in the last couple of months. Give him a 6. Gabriel, I'm almost tempted to just say give everyone a 6 and let's skip it. But I'm going to be professional. Gabriel, 6.5 maybe. Lewis Skelly, I thought played well. I'll give him a 7. Timber, man of the match. Best player on the pitch. Best right back in the Premier League this season for me. I love this guy. What a player. Bit rude telling Maresca to try harder, but I don't mind that. That's the kind of shameless settings I'm about. Timber's unreal. 9 out of 10. ACL injury. Doesn't look like he even got a scratch. Martin Odegaard, first half was okay. Second half, playing hide and seek again. I thought it was Halloween. He disappeared. His form is... Some people think we're being too harsh on Odegaard, but I'm sorry. When you're supposed to be one of the guys in the team, let's be real, people. Odegaard is meant to be one of the guys in this team. You played at Madrid, bro. What's going on with Martin Odegaard's form? Honestly, today, I'm not even saying it as like, oh, he's this, he's that. I'm saying it with concern to the Arsenal fan base. What's the problem with Martin Odegaard? Genuinely. I've joked saying the baby's latching on and he's breastfeeding, but in all seriousness, this ain't normal, you know. That wasn't even a difficult game yesterday. It's not like Chelsea were clattering us and he had that game what he hates. He's getting time and space and still not doing anything. What's going on? This guy got 15 league goals 2 years ago. They were comparing him to Kevin De Bruyne. I said on this channel 3 weeks ago, he's not a patch on Bruno Fernandes. Better than him. People were angry. Look at what Bruno's doing in that stinky United team. Odegaard, bro, I don't know what the problem is with him. I don't get it. I'm trying to figure it out. Is it because Saka's not on that right-hand side? But that's an excuse. Is it because he's been injured? But he's been back from injury for months, so that's an excuse. Is he tired? No, he had 7 weeks out injured. I don't get it. The problem with Odegaard, and I tell you this, certain players, the reason I think Bruno is a better player than Martin Odegaard is because certain players say, you can put responsibility on my shoulders and I'll thrive on it. Certain players, you put responsibility on their shoulders, they drown in it. I think Odegaard needs the armband taken off him. And I mean that in a serious way, not just because I'm saying, you know, Gabriel's a better captain. I don't think Odegaard's even thriving as a captain. I don't know if he even likes that responsibility. I think he needs to go quietly under the radar. And isn't it funny? We always used to say, oh, Odegaard and Saka. Well, it just shows that Saka's been carrying him. He makes him look better. I think he needs to get dropped. I don't think you can allow a player to continuously play like that and get away with it. I would put Waneri in that attacking midfield role. I think you need to prove a point to Odegaard that, listen, you're a talented individual, but you shouldn't be allowed to keep playing like this and just get away with it. You have to get dropped at some stage. It has to. It's just, I just don't get it. I do not get it, but his form is concerning. Really concerning. Yeah, somebody just said there, Bruno. What's Bruno got? 14 goals, 15 assists in all comps. Not even close, Pete. I told you. And I'm not even a big fan of Bruno, but he's better than Odegaard, mate. He'll fight. He can shoot. He's clutch. Odegaard's suffering. He was awful second half. I give him a 4. Thomas Partey yesterday, I didn't think he was great. Put a few tough challenges in. Got booked. 5. I think Partey's been quiet the last few weeks. I think he's going to leave in the summer as well. I don't think Arsenal are going to keep him. Declan Rice. What did I give Rice for yesterday? I thought he was average. To be honest. Going forward, did he do much? I remember that shot he had that was terrible. He had that free kick. They lined up for it for about 10 minutes. And he just kicked it straight at the defender. I was like, what the hell is that? Partey's fasting, apparently. Yeah, listen, of course that's going to have an influence. I'll give Deckers a 6. He ran around a lot. Could have got a couple... Well, to be honest, he got stamped on by Fofana. Bruno has 6 GA in his last 7 games. Odegaard don't have 5 GA in the Prem. Do you know what I mean? The front three, I mean... the worst player on the pitch yesterday, in my opinion, outside of maybe Odegaard, but he was okay in the first half, was Leandro Trossard. Just drop him to the airport. Drop him to the airport. I've seen enough. Genuinely. Kung Fu Panda, I call him. I would rather have a Kung Fu Panda on the left wing. At least he'd intimidate people. What the hell is Trossard doing? How did he get 90 minutes yesterday? I used to joke when I called him Stella or Trossard, but now I'm thinking, is there something in it? What's going on? Sell him. Get rid of that guy in the summer. I've seen enough. I've seen enough. I'm telling you now. Sell him to Saudi if that club still want him. 27 million. It's ran its course now. Get him out. Get him out. Awful performance. The thing I used to say with Trossard, listen, he's not the quickest, but technically he's very good. That guy yesterday couldn't even hit the ball. He's mishitting the ball. It's bobbling and all sorts. He was dreadful yesterday. I'm giving him not applicable. You know, like when you don't turn up to the exam, you don't even get a mark. You didn't attend. As far as I'm concerned, Trossard wasn't even on the pitch yesterday. Gabriel Martinelli. Gabriel Martinelli. For me, Gabriel Martinelli, he should be at a running track this morning, training for the Olympics. Because outside of sprinting, what does he really do on the football pitch? Like, he put a few good crosses in. Let me not totally rip him apart. He put the cross in for Merino. Merino volleyed it. He saved it. But he's one of the most frustrating players to watch. Just put him up front and make him run around like a lunatic and cause problems. Honestly, he just sprints around. I don't know what to make of Martinelli anymore. I used to cap for Martinelli on this channel. So anybody who thinks I got an agenda against Martinelli, I used to really cap for this guy. Man said harsh, he tried more than anyone. Bro, I'm here for production. I'm here for production, bro. You've all been in environments, whether it's school, whether it's college, whether it's your job. Sometimes trying is not enough. It's not enough. Dun, dun, dun. It's not enough. Oh, I tried, guys. Well, so what? You're on 180 grand a week. Don't try, do it. Your manager comes into your office. Listen, that needs to be done by Friday. Friday, yeah. Did you finish it? Nah, I tried really hard, though. It'll be ready on Monday. Oh, yeah, don't worry. No, they ain't interested in that, mate. He's getting 180 grand. Trying ain't enough. Go and try at Real Sociedad if you need to. I like Martinelli, but I'm not here for the sympathy. It ain't enough. It ain't enough, people. I watch quality wingers every week. They're not trying. They're performing at a high level. We need to be at a higher level. That front three absolutely stinks. Merino scored. I'll give him a 6 for the goal. Outside of that, moved about as much as the corner flag. But he scored. He scored. You're hating Martinelli, who's more lively than most. Yeah, so's Win the Dog, mate. Win the Dog's lively on the training ground as well. Don't mean I want the dog playing up front. Do you know what I mean? He's not good enough. I'm being serious. Like, people are... I'm witness to you once called Martinelli your favourite player at that time. Now you're being real. He has dropped form dramatically. He's dropped... Bro, we are Arsenal Football Club. My biggest advice to any Arsenal fan, any football fan tuned in today, don't idolise any of these players at your football club. None of them. Even Newcastle fans this morning with Isak, don't idolise him. Appreciate him. Enjoy him playing for your club. Don't idolise these guys. These Arsenal players are not even that good. Some of them, we should not be idolising Gabriel Martinelli, bro. I've seen players 10 times better than you walk out the door. So if you think I'm going to be sympathetic to Martinelli picking up 180 grand a week, then you're wrong. This is the wrong channel for you people. Other channels are available. I'm not. Trossard, 27 million. You've been a decent squad player. You've been awful this season. Get him out. He's 30 years of age. Year left on his contract. Bin him. Gabriel Martinelli, 2 years ago, 15 goals. Klopp saying you can be generational. You're in the Brazil squad. What I've seen the last 2 years from this guy, he has gone backwards. Now, that might be Arteta's lack of development. That might be Martinelli's lack of footballing IQ. Whatever the answer is, he is not working at Arsenal. I've got 2 options for Martinelli because realistically, Arteta's going nowhere. There's 2 options for Martinelli. We sign a new left winger and you just be an impact player off the bench, or you get rid of him. That's your 2 options, bro. I'm sorry. All that sympathy, done with it. Done with it all. You keep these guys for too long, we will never achieve anything. We've seen Martinelli at Arsenal. It hasn't really worked. For me, bin Trossard, put Martinelli on the bench, go and sign a proper left winger. That's the only way we're going to win trophies, people. Can't keep idolising these guys. They're average. They're not that good. I'm seeing wingers at Bournemouth look better than Martinelli, bro. That's the reality of the situation. Semenyo's been levels above Trossard and Martinelli this season. Justin Kluivert's probably doing more than them. Do you know what I mean? And Mbeumo, Mitoma, Hudson-Odoi. There's better wingers than them mid-table in the Premier League doing better than them. It's got to stop. This is what's held us back at Arsenal for years. We're too emotional. Oh, but I love him. He's my favourite player. Yeah, you were my favourite player when you were a good player. Now you're not. Bench him or get rid of him. Why do you think when I get my free upgrade and I get the shirt, they go, oh, what name do you want on the back of the shirt? I say, I don't want one. Yeah, but Mr. Shaw, it's free. You might as well take it. There's nothing to lose. Put somebody's name on the back of your shirt. No, it's all right. I would rather not have any of these players on the back of my shirt. Simple and clear. I don't want it. And that's where I'm at. I'm coming across real harsh today, but trust me, that's where we need to be. That's where we need to be. That's the only way we're going to achieve things. Tierney and Nwaneri came on. I can barely remember Tierney kicking the ball. In fact, he came on in the 89th minute, that's why. And Nwaneri came on with about 10 minutes to go. Give them both a 5. One of the most boring football matches I've ever watched in my life. I give Arteta a 6. What I liked about Arteta, he gave a funny interview. I actually didn't think he had that personality to do it. He sold the guy the pump fake and then came back. I quite like that. I need a bit of personality from the manager. At times, he's a bit boring. You know, your electrician is not on 180k. You definitely don't want them having a day off. You know what I mean? If the pipe's leaking and you call the plumber to come round and fix it, you don't walk out and go, right, that'll be £200, please. You go, bro, it's still leaking. Well, you know, I couldn't fix it, but at least I tried. Well, you ain't going to pay the guy, are you? So all that Martinelli tried, I'm not in. Bro, do you know what, Elliot? I'll be honest. I'm looking at how I'm coming across today. I sound like a moody old man today. Honestly, I'm moving like Patrick Truman in EastEnders. You know what I mean? I really am. But number one, it's March and I'm watching a London derby against Chelsea and we've got nothing to play for. And it looks like a pre-season friendly. That irritates me, first of all. Second of all, I'm watching a cup final that we should have been in and we didn't get to because we didn't do our job properly in 2 transfer windows. And I'm sitting here going, you're going to drag me through the rest of this season watching boring Premier League games that don't mean nothing to Arsenal. Because if we finish second or third, what difference does it really make? And then a little bit of excitement, that little tiny bit of excitement you're giving us Real Madrid. So when Real Madrid comes back, you will see enthusiasm, you will see excitement, you will see me back. But right now, that's where I'm at with Arsenal. I have very little enthusiasm for this club right now. Curtis on one today, misses Saka. I do miss Saka, but is he going to be the same player when he comes back? Are they going to bring him back too early? There's a lot of questions. Best possible reason why Butler can't get a game. I'm convinced that's Jimmy Butler, the basketball player. I don't know who that is. I didn't even know what he looked like till the other day when we typed his name in. I don't even see him warm up. Haji said, big up, bro, Curtis. Arsenal fans in India. Big up yourself, bro. Part-time party. Highlight of the game was try harder. Hotmail. Yeah. I've seen your email. I've seen it. Response pending. Sam Bond, big up for the super sticker, bro. Big up. Brian, I don't mind 1-0 defensive football, but if we're going to play that way, some trophies better come with it. Exactly. You can stink out the Emirates all season if we're lifting silverware. If we're not being entertained and we're not successful, then what are you really giving us apart from merch? Tendai said, why can't Sesko be the next Isak when he comes to a competent side like Arsenal? His numbers are similar to Isak at Sociedad. Listen, I'm not going to write him off completely. The one thing I'll say with Isak compared to Sesko is, even though Isak's numbers weren't great, if you looked at his highlights at Sociedad, you could see he was exciting the way he could dribble, and some of his goals were outrageous. Sesko, I mean... And we're at a different stage. Let's be honest, man. Isak signed 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we finished... That was at the end of the season, we finished 5th. And Tottenham got top 4. So a project striker was acceptable at that time. I think right now, we shouldn't be signing a project striker. We're too far into the process to be signing a project. Do you know what I mean? We should be signing a proven goal scorer. Not somebody that, oh, maybe in 2 years he'll be brilliant. We ain't got time for that. CFC Pirate, Big C, how do we lose to a team that didn't want to beat us? See these clowns buy another 11 teenagers. Some of these ownership models, man, what? Chelsea, yeah. People think because they spent $1 billion, oh, they spent $1 billion, it's so exciting. No, they're just spamming, buying all young players that they think their value is going to rise and they're going to make money. Just because they spent $1 billion doesn't mean they're actually that ambitious. It's a business plan. It ain't like what Abramovich was doing. Abramovich was buying to win. They're buying to make money. And it seems to be the same with a lot of these owners, unfortunately. Tehran said he needs to go to a striker comp this summer. He can become a good striker. Striker camp, sorry. I'm assuming you mean Sesko. Aiden said the biggest problem at the club is complacency. The players know they won't get dropped. Complacent. The manager knows as long as he gets top 4, he still has a job. And the owners, need I say more? Exactly. They're all just feeding off each other's energy. Aiden, Arteta dropped more shoulders than Sterling so far. Oh, man, that was funny. Some people said it was cringe. Ekatike is the baby Isak. Bun Benjamin Tesco said part-time party. A lot of people like this Ekatike, man. He looks good. He's having a good season. There is a whole lot of complacency, man. You know? Because for me, Odegaard should be getting dropped just to teach him a lesson. That you're at Arsenal, bro. This ain't acceptable, but he won't. He won't drop him. Anyway, enough of that game. It was awful. Let's concentrate on players. Well, a player that we're not going to sign, but I like dreamers. You got to be a dreamer in life. You got to dream in life. Dream big, aim high, dream, believe, achieve. If you want to show us you're a serious football club, when's the last time this football club did something that wowed you in the transfer market? When's the last time they signed a player that made you want to put his name on the back of your shirt? Your excitement levels were that high. The last one for me was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and even that came with a pinch of salt because you just sold Alexis to Man United. You should have added him to Alexis Sanchez. When are they going to give us something that lifts the whole football club? Ozil, Alexis, Aubameyang are the only 3 signings that I can think of that made me really think like, wow, you have signed a hell of a footballer. Declan Rice was a massive statement because Man City were at the front to get him as well. But Declan Rice are a very good centre mid, but I'm not going to lie. I wasn't running to the Emirates saying put Rice on the back of my shirt. It's a centre-back that moved to DM who got raised under David Moyes. Now, let me just say, the source. Forgive me. AFC Camden. He's got a lot wrong over the years, by the way. A lot. Remember when he said we were signing Royce? Madness. Yeah, the madness was you making people believe we were signing Royce. There's sauce in my fridge that knows more probably than this, but we'll talk about it just for the sake of content. It's Monday, it's international break. It's a slow news day. Just bear with me. Don't shoot the messenger. That celebration alone adds another 10 million on him for me. I can't lie. right? The aura of this guy, Isak. The way he plays, I've never seen a more Arsenal striker. Never. Like, he's made for Arsenal. But the problem is, he's not made for Arteta. In my opinion, he's made for Arsenal. He wears the number 14. He says Thierry Henry's his hero. The aura, the celebrations, it's all Arsenal. Anelka, Aubameyang, Henry, Van Persie, Isak. He will be that long list of top quality strikers that you just love at your football club. He's perfect for Arsenal. The problem is, the way Arteta plays, he'll probably end up left wing with Havertz up front. You could see it happening. He did it to Oba. Put him on the left, played Lacazette through the middle. And that's the problem. Look at the celebration. I mean, if a picture says 1,000 words, Van Dijk with his head in his hands, just running off like that. Look at this. Look at this dude. This guy's unreal. This guy's unbelievable. I can't imagine what level he could go to, but that celebration is because Carragher said Van Dijk will handle him. Man's just like, yeah, once again, I've dealt with him. And you know what? I do love Van Dijk. I said the other week he's one of the best centre-backs we've ever seen. But the thing you've always got to say is that he hasn't played against strikers of the same level as like Rio Ferdinands and those guys, man. Those guys were playing against beasts all the time. Drogba's, Henry's, R9 Ronaldo's, you know, constantly top player. Rebel said you are deluded. Ozil was absolutely rubbish. He was a mercenary and he was overrated. Well, actually, mate, he was one of the best creative players in world football. It's a bit difficult to be a great number 10 when you've gone from Cristiano Ronaldo and Karim Benzema that you're creating for to Olivier Giroud and Theo Walcott. Make no mistake about it, Mesut Ozil, when we signed him, was a world beater. He was a world beater, bro. Ask Cristiano Ronaldo. He said he's one of the best players he's ever played with. The guy was a world beater. World Cup winner, Real Madrid. He was outstanding. We never had the team. Creative players are only as good as the players they're creating chances for, bro. He's creating chances for Giroud and Theo Walcott. What are we doing here, bro? The guy was outrageous. He proved it at Madrid. You ain't going to look good when your attack's mid. Ozil in the number 11. Jeez, bro, he was different. That guy was different. He saw passes that weren't even there. He was outrageous. Towards the end, yeah, he was a bit of a mercenary. He'd gone by the end. We should have probably got rid of him 18 months earlier, but in them first few years, he was an absolute joy to watch, mate. Him and Alexis Sanchez, their link-up. Wild. Can we say the same for Odegaard? A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Ultimately, who's he creating for? You know, Havertz, or you can give him that a little bit. But the thing you could say is Mesut Ozil's Arsenal team wasn't challenging for the league title. You know? Arsenal scored like 90 goals last season. So ultimately, scoring goals wasn't a problem. So he should have got loads of assists. But listen, bad source, but let's just read the story and break down whether we believe any of this anyway. He said, understand Isak favours a move to Arsenal over Liverpool if he decides to leave Newcastle this summer. Likely to push for a move if they miss out on Champions League football. Arsenal prepared to pay 100 million plus for his services. Yeah, I saw it. Thierry and Isak speaking. Surely Thierry was just saying, bro, come and get that 14, man. Come and rescue that number 14 that's been suffering at Arsenal with Eddie and Nketiah wearing it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he said yesterday after the game, Isak, apparently that he's not leaving. But I heard Fabregas say he wasn't leaving Arsenal. Next minute, he was holding up a Barcelona shirt. Ultimately, them winning that trophy yesterday probably makes it harder to get Isak out of there. But I still think if Newcastle miss out on the Champions League, you would still have an opportunity. At the moment, they're sixth. They're behind Man City, Chelsea, Forest, Arsenal, and Liverpool. And looking at it, you know, they're 7 points behind Forest. 1 behind City, 2 behind Chelsea. It's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting. Apparently Fabrizio's tweeted. What's Fab saying? What is he saying? 1 minute ago, Chelsea. What's he saying? Here we go. I can't see anything about Arsenal. Has he said something about Arsenal? Who's he talking about? Van Dijk. There's going to be. I think Van Dijk signed a new deal at Liverpool. Said there'll be news before the end of the season. I reckon he's already signed it. Frimpong is one to watch. Could leave. 40 million release clause. Jeez. 40 million euros as well. As a lot of clubs will be in for him. What's he said, bro? I can't see anything Arsenal related anyway. Unless it's way back. He said Isak's top priority in a YouTube video. Oh, YouTube. I was looking on his Twitter. Yeah, I mean, listen, it sounds good, don't it? It sounds good. Let's be honest. Fabrizio and Ornstein, they'll rinse this story all summer. Because we can't help ourselves when we see it. When I see these stories, I'm like, oh, the celebration. Can you imagine him playing for us? But we need to be surprised. We deserve to be surprised. This club haven't done anything major for a long time in terms of a signing that we feel takes us to that next level. We need something like this. But the one thing I would say is if Arsenal spent 100 million on a defensive midfielder, why would you not be prepared to spend 100 million on a striker? Right, let me... I've got the tweet. Big up somebody who just put that in the chat. AFC stuff. There it is, Pound. I appreciate that. I've just got it. So let's quote what Fabrizio has said on his YouTube channel. He said, big, massive proposals will come to the table for Alexander Isak. Arsenal will be there. Liverpool are also there. For Arsenal, he's the absolute top target. Sesko is the other name on the list. For Liverpool, he's one of the names they're considering. I mean, it's a tricky one. I feel like Arsenal are more likely to spend 100 million than Liverpool, just simply because we've never seen Liverpool do it. He's said a lot, but he's also said nothing, really, Fabrizio. It's very easy to make comments like this. Big, massive proposals will come to the table. Arsenal will be there. Liverpool will be there. He's a top target. Well, I could have told you that. You could have told me that. Every one of you in the comments could have said that. The only way it opens up, and you're right, I agree with that. I think Darwin leaves Liverpool this summer. These rumours, they rejected about 70 million euros for him. They get 70, 80 million for Darwin from Saudi. All of a sudden, they got a lot of money on their hip. I saw that story as well. Grizz saying Liverpool looking at Alvarez. That's a bit strange, that. Alvarez only just gone to Atletico. And they're talking about Liverpool going for him. I mean, is he going to leave Atletico that quickly? I'm not sure. But I did see that Liverpool link with him. Listen, I don't think we'll get Isak. I would love to be pleasantly surprised and Arsenal do something that none of us expect to happen and they go and blow up the transfer market. But it's going to take a lot of money. And if they get Champions League football, along with the fact they've just won a trophy, is he even going to want to leave anyway? He's got 3 years left on his contract. Newcastle are in no situation where they need to sell him. Everybody said in the summer, Newcastle need to balance the books. And they sold Elliot Anderson to Forest for 35 million. This mindset that, oh, when they need to balance the books, they're going to sell their best player. That's the last thing you would do. You would sell a squad player, you know, and make money that way. So, listen, be very, very difficult. But, listen, what you need to happen is if they miss out on top 4, you've then got to make a huge offer that makes him think twice. If Arsenal turned up and said, what, 120 million and doubled his wages, then he's got a big decision to make, you know? So that's what you got to do. You've got to apply pressure. You've got to apply pressure to these guys to make them consider leaving, you know? But we will see. We will see. A couple of stories before we start to round up, people. I will be back on Dan's channel at 3:30, Football's 12th Man. Make sure you're tuned in for that one. So that should be a good show. He's on 140k. Yeah, we'll give him 300 grand. Havertz on 275. You give him more than him. Say, listen, we'll give you 120 million and 300 grand. Think about it. See what you think. Then let's see. Anyway, get the likes up, people. Over 2,000 of you in the chat. And we are in the international break, which is interesting because usually I hate the international break. Now I kind of feel like I'm kind of glad we're not watching Arsenal for 2 weeks. Also, it gives us an opportunity for this guy to get closer to a return to action. I said 2 months ago on this channel, on AFTV, on Dan's channel, I said Saka will play in April. And I think he's going to play in April. Also, Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has claimed that Bukayo Saka has a good chance of returning from injury after the international break. The story is that he's on the training pitch with the ball at his feet. Not training with the group, but he's doing individual training. Probably doesn't come back straight away, but you've got to be... What? It's the 17th of March. We don't play, I think, until the 2nd of April. So he's got another 2 weeks before the first game back. Then we've got another week until the first leg of Real Madrid. So we don't play Real Madrid for another 3 weeks. And then the following week is the second leg. So he would have 4 weeks to play in the away leg. I know a lot of you saying it's too early, and I hear you on that. But in 4 days, he will have been out for 3 months. They say 3 months is the earliest you can come back from this injury. 3 months, 12 weeks. So by the end of this week, he'll be there. That's the 3 months. That's the minimum. Then after that, you're looking at extra week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You've got to remember he's a young man. He hasn't had many injuries. He's got great technology nowadays to recover from these injuries. As I said, Elise, he was out for 3 months. He came back. I agree. If maybe you wait till the second leg. Listen, part of me thinks don't play him. Just leave him out. We probably don't beat Madrid anyway. Don't risk him. There's nothing to play for in the league, right? But this is football. And I tell people all the time, you guys know anyway, but football is the most brutal sport you will probably ever be involved in. People think, UFC and boxing because it's violent. This is even worse because they do it in a non-violent way to you in football. It's brutal. You're used in football. If Saka is declared fit by that doctor, I'm telling you now, they will involve him. They will get him back in training. They will get him game time, behind closed doors games. And you've got to remember, people, he will be desperate to play. He will be desperate. Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. Saka wants that game. So I get the sentiment, leave him till next season. But how do you do that? How do you leave a guy that's declared fit out when he's actually your best attacking player? Do you know what I mean? How do you leave him out? How do you turn around to Saka and say, you know what, bro, just leave it until pre-season in June, July? He's going to say, what? I've been sat here for 3 months recovering from that. I need to play. So I think maybe the second leg, you see him on the bench. Arteta will play him. Look at Martinelli. He's not 100%. I think he'll be involved. It's such a big game. I think they'll roll the dice. Sniper says, TT to go visit him with an Isak Arsenal 14 shirt. Make it happen, man. Surely he just says, bro, I'm going to ring you later. We're going to sort this out. David, Eddie showed how bad Arteta, he won a trophy without spending 700 mil. Actually, coach players like Murphy into great wingers, moved Jolin, made him better. I thought you were saying Eddie and Ketty. Then I realised Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe, the job he's done at Newcastle is unbelievable. Genuinely unbelievable. He took over a Newcastle that was on the verge of a relegation battle. With Mike Ashley in charge, that club was going nowhere under that ownership. And with the players that they had at the time. This guy signed Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Isak, Gordon. One of the most exciting attacks. You got, like you said, a guy like Murphy, who I once said on this channel, is a mid-table, bottom half of the table winger, to be honest. You've made him look useful. You signed players like Botman, who's a brilliant player. Trippier's been a smart signing. Hall's done well. Shaw. That is a team of just players that other clubs were probably looking at thinking, well, I like, Isak, but would I take a chance on him? Gordon's got talent, but would I pay 60 million for him? I think he's done an outstanding job. Smashed up PSG in the Champions League last year, won a trophy. They play good football. They got the most exciting striker in Europe. Their midfield is outstanding. As I said yesterday, Joel Linton was one of the worst strikers in the Premier League. You move him to midfield, and the guy is an absolute beast. He's in the Brazil squad. He never stops running. He's an animal. Even Joe Willock. No Arsenal fan cared that Joe Willock left. And he's done well there. He's gone there and won a trophy. So fair play to him. I think you've got to respect what he's done. And they reckon he was offered the England job and didn't take it. So he's done a brilliant job. Almiron did well for a while. Callum Wilson scored goals there. He's done a brilliant job there, man. Like you said, coaching. How are you able to make Murphy look like a good winger? Yeah, at Arsenal, Martinelli looks terrible. Trossard looks terrible. Do you know what I mean? Odegaard looks terrible. How is that the case? These guys have got far bigger reputations, have achieved more, played for massive clubs. Why are these guys not improving under this manager? I don't get it. Tendai said, Isak injuries worry me next Tomiyasu, if you ask me. I mean, this season, I think he's been a lot better. But, once he trains on the car park, who knows what's going to happen, Let's see what happens with Saka. Final story, and I did speak about this yesterday on the watch-along, the Arsenal watch-along. But again, I've got a video coming out this week. I go into a little bit more detail. But this summer, there's no excuse. There was no excuse last summer. If Arsenal mess up this summer, we're done. We're a mess. There's 3 strikers Arsenal should be going for this summer. They have to get one of them. Number 1 is Alexander Isak. That's the dream. 120 million. One of the most exciting. Unbelievable. Number 2 is Gyökeres. Gunman, goal scorer, ripping up records left, right and centre. 70 million release clause this summer. Number 3, in my opinion, is Victor Osimhen. 31 goals and assists in 30 games for Galatasaray this season. That would probably be option 3 for me. I wouldn't even have Sesko in my top 3. He is ripping it up over there in Turkey. Now, listen, Turkish league is not a top-level league. We know that. However, you still got to do the business. And he's done it in Italy before, so it's not like he hasn't done it. He's done it in the Champions League. He's proved himself. 26 years of age. In the league this season, 20 goals in 22 matches. 6 goals in 7 Europa League games. He scored in the Cup there as well. He obviously had that season. He scored 26 league goals in 22-23 at Napoli. He's a problem. 6 foot plus, good in the air, strong, can run. He would do well, I think, at Arsenal. I really think so. Because he's mobile. He's very good in the air. Listen, I would prefer Isak, of course. But I don't want Sesko. There's no need for Sesko. There's better options. £63 million release clause. What's the excuse? Why would anybody buy Sesko, who's going to cost about 65 million? Why would you buy him? How can you justify it? Oh, but he's cheaper. Okay, but these guys are proven in better leagues. Got better goal records. Go for Isak. If you can't get him, go for Gyökeres. If you can't get him, go for Osimhen. There's no need for no Benjamin Sesko to be an Arsenal player. These 3 strikers, in my opinion, are better than him and have done more than him as well. So, listen, the Isak and Gyökeres would be the top 2 for me, but I would take Osimhen. This is a guy that last season they were talking about 100 million for him. This is a guy whose agent was at the training ground having meetings with Edu. So we're clearly interested in him. And now you can get him for 63 million. It's like Kvaratskhelia, who was 100 million. He left for 60 million. Market opportunities, they said. It's crazy. Lawrence, do you know what it is, Lawrence? Honestly, right? because I say some stuff about Sesko, don't I? I have no excitement whatsoever for Sesko coming to Arsenal. I just don't. I've watched him. He's got something, but it isn't enough for me. He's tall. He's 6'5". Okay, what else? Sesko gives me no excitement. None. I don't look at him and think, yo, let's get Sesko to Arsenal. We're winning the title. I just don't feel that one bit. He'll score some crosses. He's not bad. He'll probably improve. But you don't win as a league title. As far as I'm concerned, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I really could. What do they say? Remember in that 50 Cent movie, Get Rich or Die Trying? He says, when I'm right, I'm right. And when I'm wrong, I'm still right. Because when I'm wrong, I could have been right. Something like that. But I believe I'm right. Sesko, no, no, no. Don't do it. Please, I've watched him. He doesn't do much. I don't want him at Arsenal. I do not. I'm putting it out there. I do not want Sesko at Arsenal. If he comes to Arsenal and rips it up, I will hold my hands up. I think maybe in a couple years, he might end up being a very good player, but I do not want a project striker at Arsenal, right? I don't want to move out of this house, move into another house, and the house ain't built yet. It's just a bunch of bricks. Now, listen, you put all these bricks together, you'll have a mansion, but it'll take you 3 years. No, I need a house today. Buy that house, move in today. I need ready-made striker. Hits the back of the net from day one, and we know we're going up a level. I don't want no project. 2 years ago, I would have accepted a Sesko, because that's where we were. Europa League, you know, project signings. Not now. Ready-made. I want somebody that can score 20 league goals. That's where I'm at. Not everybody will agree. Some people rate Sesko. I've watched him. There's not one fibre in my body that tells me that guy is going to win Arsenal a league title. Not one. Not one. I think you can kind of see my point that I'm not the biggest Sesko fan. Anyway, we're going to round up the show there. If Benjamin Sesko is watching, other clubs are available. Anyway, I'll be on tour high-fiving him in Singapore. Yo, Sesko, baller, always rated you, bro. Big season ahead. Hey. The game's the game. Just move with it. Anyway, people, I'm out of here. I'm back at 3:30 on Football's 12th Man with man like Potsy. I'm going to redirect, actually. Let's redirect to Daniel. And hopefully I'll see you all there at 3:30. Well, I'm hoping we're not going to talk too much about that Chelsea game because, let's be honest, who wants to talk about that game? Why can I never find his... Every time I search for it, it doesn't show up. I have to type in... where are we? Right, there we go. I found it. Romano update. Romano update on Isak to Arsenal. Saliba expected to stay this summer. Fair play, fair play. He'll go next year. No, hopefully not. Listen, big up to everyone tuned in. Hit the like button and subscribe on the way out. I'll be on Dan's channel in an hour. And I'll be back on here tomorrow, people. Take care. Enjoy your day. Hopefully see you all in an hour's time, people. And I'll be back tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bless.